Welcome to another episode of What Are You?
If you hadn't noticed, we were cutting out a few minutes before the episode started.
Except for our dance break, that was nice.
Yes.
Let's keep that in there.
Yeah.
So hopefully you all hear that part. Anyways, we are on episode episode 7 of season 2. We're going to be talking about exoticism. Wow, someone else speak for me.
We're going to be talking about exoticism.
Thank you.
Which, most people would think, oh, you're exotic, or something like that. And talk about how it hurts us.
And today, we have a special guest.
Uh-oh. Ooh.
Do you hear that deep voice?
Yeah.
Our special guest is James Speed, who actually was our first guest last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Circle.
Yeah.
We got the fancy equipment.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Back in the day.
A long time ago.
Yeah. January 2000.
But yeah, no.
Oh, that was a
Sure was. But yeah, James, go ahead, reintroduce yourself, who you is, and all that.
I'm just some guy who works here. No.
He's like the president. Oh my god.
James Speed. I work in the Center for Identity and Inclusion. What all do you do for your intro? What do all do you want to know?
Whatever you want to let the people know.
Yeah, shout it out.
Yeah, I've been at CU Denver for a little while. Identify as Black, Japanese, Native. Have two. I think the reason this also this title has me in some kind of feelings is I have 2 daughters. And I know I can see that with one of them already. People see that already about her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the other one is, we'll see as she gets a little older. Joe can already see it, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to be here.
Yeah.
And exoticism is also a topic that's, although it's very prevalent with people who do identify with mixed identity, it's definitely not just people who are mixed identity. I'm sure you also have some experience with that, Chelsea, or if you know other people who do. So we think that this is a really good group to talk about this. So, exoticism. Who wants to give a definition? Or what you think about.
I mean, I think it's just like how most people would look at you and immediately see like an attractive trait that they see in them in their perspective towards you, not that you see in yourself. So like my hair, like it'll get messy sometimes, but I have gone to the bars and like some random girl would like rub like her hands through my hair, and I immediately turn around and be like, "I'm sorry, what are you doing?"
Hi,
and she'd
nice
be like, "Your hair's so soft. I've never seen hair like that before."
Yes,
and I was
you
like,
have.
"Yes, have you not seen French Prince of Bel-Air? Like, come on, like you just wanted to touch it the whole time." But like it's just kind of like objectifying like in individuals like traits that they don't even see themselves like. Yes, I do see my hair as attractive, but I don't see it as like
foreign.
Yes.
As foreign, as like out there, outworldly. It's like no, there are definitely like a bunch of people, especially on campus, that have the similar hairstyle that I have, and yet this particular person took it upon themselves to kind of like compliment how like outworldly and out of the bar I was. Like I was the only one there that was like just for her, and I was like, if you don't let me finish my drink so I can pay my tab and awkwardly leave. But yeah, no, that's my definition. What do y'all think?
I think you kind of.
She said kind of.
Or has there been any like instance where you have been like objectified or like exotified?
Oh yeah. Just my identity, being an Asian woman. I guess nobody knows where Indonesia is located on the world map, and so the first thing that comes to mind is, are you from China or like Thailand? But I think that's pretty much the only thing that they would mention. But when I say Indonesia, they're like, oh,
yeah.
Oh wait,
Oh.
is it like India?
Like, did I say indie?
I
Like,
need to like you know, the office where Jim's like,
Yeah.
We can look at the camera.
I'm not looking at any camera, I'm just like looking for it. But yeah, just people are well aware of what's happening around them, and they should be, right? It's
Yeah.
that constant educating yourself, even though if you don't want to know the information, but it's important, right?
Yeah.
But these things are not brand new.
Yeah.
They've existed for decades, history, right? And it's part of
Centuries.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think exoticism will like end.
Mm-mm.
It'll continue, I think, in different forms.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's sparking with like physical traits, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know where it will shift from this point. But yeah, most definitely, Asian women. It's very common. It's in the media. It's out there. Movies, television shows still portray, stereotype this idea of like
Fetishization. Yes,
Yes.
no, I mess up too.
you know, like Asian women, whether that be Japanese, Indian, and the way that they objectify the clothing too on the woman too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always comes back to like a hypersexualization of people, and their physical traits of what they do have that you personally do not have, or that you don't see portrayed in general in society. So like we don't look like, to some people, I should rephrase that, to some people we don't look like what would be the American standard of beauty.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
so I think that's like a big thing, especially with mixed people, as well, is this like, okay, so you're not all the way this and you're not all the way that, so you are just this like blend of these two foreign cultures, and I'm like, for some people it's just like I'm just black and white.
Yeah.
They're like, you've seen a black person, you've seen a white person,
Yeah.
you just put them together, and
There
here
it
we
is.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned black and white, and the way that media exotifies even mixed black and white women, and how there's a preference, right, over dark skin versus light skin,
Yeah.
and this exoticism towards like the light skinned folks, right? And this history around like tucking in the blackness away and tucking in, like media has this way of like continuing to do that.
To say
Yes.
that white is pure, to the
Yeah.
white lighter looks better, and that's all in the Asian culture when you talk about the exoticism, fetishism, fetishization, I can't say the word, sexualization. It's always to a lighter mixed person. It's not the
Yes.
darker ones. If you look at the darker ones who are mixed, they're still like,
Like,
Yeah.
we'll just push you
But then
on
if you're
there.
light skinned, add in some green eyes, get some
Oh,
curls,
man.
like, oh,
Yeah.
they're goals.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that ambiguity.
Yeah.
Like, I can't pinpoint where you're from,
Yes.
so obviously you must be foreign, which means you must be exotic.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that term, like ambiguity? Because people use ethnically ambiguous a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can do that in inner circles. So like, we'll say that about our older child. She kind of is. If you look at her, you're like, I can say that. I can say that to people who've seen her or been around her. Like, we're cool like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other people you can. You look at her. And I look at her sometimes like, how are people gonna identify you? What are they gonna say about you? They already say like, you're so pretty. You're this blend of these two. You're this. You're. So, like, I understand the body positivity piece.
Yeah.
But there's also how far does that go to where you're like, why don't you put them on some like ads? Or we joke
Yeah.
around and like ads, we'll see
Yeah.
ads and like, our people are doing better here. She's a better mixture of these two.
Yeah.
But it plays a role in everything. And so
That's-
much like just scroll through social media and see the groups.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
people who are like, yeah, let me post all these pictures of someone so we can get a job.
Right.
Get a job in media. So they can fit both worlds.
That was actually something that, like Fashion Nova, I don't know if anyone's like been on that website, but like, that was a big thing that they're getting called out for now is like the women on there are like none of them they say that they're for everyone because they have like curves and things like that and the clothing's meant for curves, but everyone on there is one hypersexualized of course, but everyone on there is like either is lighter skin tone of whatever race they may be. And so that's like a big thing is like, okay, so are you actually for everyone?
Yeah.
Or are you towards a certain demographic still within the minoritized communities? And even then, like, just like, I mean, not to get too into, like, body positivity or even body shaming is like, people are like, oh, it's all about curves, but like, those are like Kardashian curves, where it's a lot of them are prosthetic. Yeah, it's not in injections and things like that, and like it's what's the Cardi B song where the thighs don't match? Like it's just like you know what I mean? Like it's when someone has a really 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 big butt, but their thighs are super thin, and so it's like Madonna is a perfect example of that. So like it doesn't match because it's not real.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit sidetracked,
but you're good.
But that's honestly like something interesting, and like I wonder what the differences are between James, yours, and Ray, your experience of like being exoticized versus Chelsea and I as women being exoticized. Like I can imagine that it looks different.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's the same in terms of like hypersexualizing men
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
There is that part, but I feel like do you think it's less towards the body? Ours is most definitely like
Ours is-
physical and
yeah.
body type.
I feel like it's you all explain.
Okay.
I'm not.
Go ahead.
I mean-
Go ahead, you can explain.
Because when I see like certain people, like just on Instagram and Snapchat, right, and when
Yeah.
they're looking at a photo of a mixed person, and then their hair is, I don't know, wavy down
Yeah.
to the beach or like green backdrop. It's usually like that,
Right.
Yeah.
like less clothing, same thing as what they would do to a woman, except women would be like very less. And so I'm thinking it's the same. Like that's just my assumption. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, I would say like there's the same level of awkwardness. Well, I don't know. I guess like I just always go back to the bar story because like that was the first time physically that someone like hypersexualized any part of me. When usually like it would be my personality that people would start like shifting towards me being black when I'm both black and Hispanic. And then there hasn't been one. Actually, scratch that. The time that I did straighten my hair, not when you did it, but when I was back in Virginia, a lot of people started, you know, making comments and stuff like that, and they started pushing me towards the Latino side, being like, "Oh man, right? You looking, you know, papi, you know, whatever. You looking like suave, hey, you know, like whatever." But like, you know, definitely they shifted immediately because of the hair. Even though I had like a lighter skin tone, it was like the lighter skin tone, kind of like greased up, like straight hair, bam, Hispanic. But light skin tone, flat top, black.
So you had more of that sexualization when you straightened your hair.
Oh yeah.
Because of that.
People were putting their fingers through my hair, and I love a good head rub, but like it was very like, ooh, yeah, you know, and it was just very like weird that like a lot of people started being like, wow, Ray, your hair. Oh. I was like, what the? What?
Where was the same energy last week?
Exactly. Like, where was this Cardi B? Ow! You know, coming from like.
Yeah.
It reminds me of something that I forgot about until you brought it up. It reminds me of middle school. Like middle school, and we're sitting here playing, doing sports, doing our thing. And there was always this one student, this one peer, this one friend. She would always come like, let me rub your stomach, let me rub your six pack, let me rub your six pack. I'm like,
In middle school? You
yeah,
got a six
middle
pack?
Hey, James. Shoot.
genetics.
I'll go running right now.
genetics, sorry, genetics. It's all genetics from my dad's side.
Genetics, folks.
Yes.
Oh,
Male viewers, stay.
Sorry.
They're like, I'm a head up. Like,
Married too.
he's saying.
married with children. And I forgot about it until it happened, but that wasn't the only experience. I had multiple of those experiences in middle school, not realizing, because I was the only darker person. I went to a predominantly Latino high school, Latinx high school, middle school. And so even in high school, we'd always joke about if we put us all together by blood quantum, there was like 2 black people in our high school, or maybe 3. But it happened a lot in middle school, and I didn't realize it until this conversation. And a lot of the females were like, let me do this, let me touch, let me see this, and
You're just like,
at first I was like, it was awkward, then I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
If that's what's gonna take to leave, so you can leave me alone, go do your thing. And what was weird is one of them had a boyfriend.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Them 13-year-olds. Shady.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
You talked about the slick back hair, like straight. It reminds me of the scene in 13 Reasons Why.
Oh.
Forgot the mixed character.
Oh yes, when she
Jessica.
I think
She was
you,
gonna court.
Jessica, thank
Yep.
you.
And
When
then-
she straightened her hair.
And
because
her
she
mom
was
said, yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
You
No,
probably
go.
I have not watched 13 Reasons Why, so I need to.
Yeah, so she's mixed of black and white.
Okay.
And
Her mom was white.
her mom's white. She usually has her hair in the like afro, right?
It's curly.
Curly.
It's like
Okay.
curly, wavy. It's not like my hair texture. It's more of like, let me think of a celebrity.
It's so hard. It's a good thing.
Janae Aiko is probably the
Yes.
closest with her natural hair.
Yeah.
So it's
Sorry.
so, but like more of those like kind of ring-like
Yes.
curls rather than like
And
an
they sit
afro.
perfectly too.
Yeah.
And so that was her day-to-day basis hair, right? But when it came to the core, she chose to straighten her hair
Ah.
and pin it back, right?
Yeah.
And so this like we label as this pin straight hair as the ideal like beauty standard, right? And like to look a certain way is for her in the courtroom is a way to get to them to side with her because it's upholding this whiteness and this pure, like you said, James, right? And it just came to a realization when you said that, because the way that we have the beauty standards of like slick straight back hair is the way to go, right? But when
Yeah.
we see a fade high top, it's like
Like
not
everyone
straight up, not pure,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
whiteness, and
Yeah.
it's like in one of the ethnic groups,
Yes.
toss it over there.
Yeah.
So
No, I definitely agree with that. And I know for me, I didn't get this exoticism really until about like high school. And I mean, just like with like puberty and all that, I went to like a predominantly white high school, but just this like, it began when I started developing and all that stuff, and people being like, oh, she's like this and that, and like, oh, I see this feature, this is your black side coming out here, isn't it? And here's like your hips from your Mexican side, and like this whole like, oh, I
What?
see you. Yeah.
I'm like trying to like
Literally
yeah.
like pointing every single trait that I have and being like, that's your black side, that's your Mexican side, we don't know where that's from, and like all this like, and people are like, oh, who'd you get this from? And it was, and nobody straight up said exotic, but everyone was like different,
Yeah.
and not like
Yeah.
this person who's just black or this person who's just Mexican or anyone else in the school who was just white.
Yeah.
but it's like claiming ownership of these like only good
Right.
traits
Yeah.
that they're specifying.
It's either good traits are trying to place like this trait is bad, so this trait is this group, this trait is this group. I got that too in high school. Like,
Wow.
oh, you're fast because you're black, so you got a third hamstring. No, we
A
don't have
third hamstring? No, what?
No, we don't have a third hamstring. That's just,
It's-
man, that's just.
Thanks
I
so
just
much.
traded.
Like, but they talk about those things like, oh, you're good at math. It's because you're Asian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll joke about those things like, I'm gonna be Asian today. I'm just gonna be Asian today. I'm not gonna be black today.
Yeah.
But they do that, and they
Yeah.
like, the good pieces are thrown here, bad pieces are put here with different groups.
Yeah.
And I think people do that
Yeah.
as a way to make themselves feel comfortable.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. People love to categorize.
Yeah.
It helps them understand, and I'm just like, just
Racial categorization.
Yeah.
So my question is, what are some ways, and like listeners, you may like relate to this, you may not, or you may like experience someone who you thought was like exotic. So what are some ways that you can kind of like counter that, or maybe like nip it in the bud?
I was born in America.
Play the
Both my
Child's
parents were
Gambino.
born in America. Like, I'll give you the simple, like, ask me a dumb question, I'll give you a dumb answer back. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like,
really from?
Yeah, where are you from? Where are you from?
So
shut down.
I think what was it the funny joke that I made last year is like whenever someone asks like, "Hey, what are you?" I'd be like, "I'm a boy," and like just like dance away and just like do my thing. But like it's just exactly like if someone gives you like a dumb question, like I'm gonna give a dumb answer, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, the next time you want to like approach me."
Yeah.
With that question, please like think how you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it for you.
It's like the most appropriate way and okay way to ask somebody is like, what is your ethnic background?
Yeah.
It's that simple. Like, it's not an offensive question.
It's not.
Like, don't feel like you're in an uncomfortable state.
You asked a specific question.
Yeah.
What's your ethnic background?
Yes.
Nothing offensive to that.
Yeah.
I will say caveat, the only good time to say what are you is during Halloween when you don't know what costume is. That's the only time that can work. I'm just saying. So October, this may be a really weird time for everybody, but during Halloween, if you're dressed up as like a mummy using like Charmin Ultra Plus, and people don't know what your costume is,
That's a
fine.
good time.
Yeah, don't fight people. You made your costume bad, okay? That's your fault, not mine.
Oh man.
I just thought about that. I was like, oh man, that's really messed up.
I think for me my response depends on the environment that I'm gonna be in as well. Like if I'm here and like working and my education and stuff like that, like I'm gonna give a very different response than when I'm out at the bar with my friends and not wanting to teach people.
Yes.
Like I have a switch sometimes that I'm just like I just want to turn this off. I just want to have fun. Please, nobody ask me any questions or anything like that. And yeah, I mean the questions more come once they hear my name and they see me and they're like, oh, different. Where are you from?
Oh,
And like,
Elma.
I've gotten that. Someone literally said like I sound like I belong on the plantation, and I was like, no. He was black, so like it helped a little bit, but I was like,
sugar bun, like
I was like, and I was in Steamboat Springs too, so I was like, there's not many of us out here, and this doesn't make me want to stay here at all. But yeah, like wow, that brought the mood down a little bit. Yeah, that was messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chelsea
That was in the background hearing that conversation.
like you be behind the guy just like,
How are you?
let's go. Cut it out. Oh gosh. But yeah, no, definitely it's when I say my name and people are like R-A-Y, I was like, R-E-Y. And they're like, are you spelling it? It's like, I'm spelling it correctly, ma'am. Like,
And you've gotten this because we've talked about this before too, but have you, like, I shouldn't say have you gotten this, I know the answer.
Yeah.
But like, people hearing your name, and like, my name is 4 letters, your name is 3 letters, and people can be like, what is it short for? And I'm like,
nothing.
nothing.
Nah.
This is literally my name.
It's great.
Yeah. They're like, do you have a different name that you go by? I'm like,
Nope. Except for the one my mom calls me, and my mom calls me that. That's it.
Yeah.
No, it's something different. My middle name. Yeah.
We'll ask later.
Yeah. Off camera. But yeah, no, every time it'll just be like a weird conversation about my dang name, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get let me get my driver's license real quick. That's all. And yeah, it does come, in difficult times when I have to teach people, and it is frustrating that I have to teach people.
And you don't have to.
You don't have to. And I think that's the harder part because I'm not trying to be comfortable with my identity. I'm good. You are trying to get into this conversation so that you are comfortable with my identity.
So can I ask you all a question?
Yeah.
On exoticism. Do you feel that people think names are exotic? Like the
Yes.
teacher won't have
Oh,
a roster, just seeing a
100%.
name and already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not Ashley. I'm not Jenny.
Yeah.
I'm not anything that, and I'm also, my name is not a standard, like, Latina name that they hear either. Like, I'm not, my mom's, like, for example, my mom's name is Rosa. People default to Maria if they don't know her name. because that's the name that they associate with mainly Mexican people. Maria sounds nothing like Rosa. Like even she's gotten Rosie before, and that's much
They
closer.
both end in ah.
Okay, all right, and they both have an R. Yeah, but yeah,
And an R.
yeah, but like because my name is not like a name that also like my cousin's name is Alexandra, and she gets a much different response than people whose name is Alejandra, or anything like that too. Like if it's easier for them to pronounce, it's not as exotic, and I should say them is like the more like dominant culture
Yes.
in the United States,
Yes.
because I get that also from
Yeah.
people who identify as black or identify as Middle Eastern or whatever it might be. Like anyone who doesn't recognize like the standard name.
Yes.
And yeah, usually.
I'd have to agree with Alma because that has happened recently here on campus with an office. Not going to say the name, but when they saw my last name, like, so how do you? I've never seen this last name before. How do you pronounce it? It's like, oh my God, here we go again. So I gave her the face. Didn't realize
You didn't answer the question, you just gave her the face.
So how do you pronounce it? And they're just waiting there like,
So ready,
It's just very
so ready to
sorry.
butcher it.
Yeah.
Sito Mea.
Can you say that again?
I didn't catch it. Yeah.
Si, do, me,
Yeah.
miam.
And then it goes.
Me?
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Cinnamon. Like, and you're like, oh, what?
And then I'm like,
No, that's okay.
you can
Yeah.
just,
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Just, yeah.
okay, maybe next time. No.
No.
Yeah.
Like even that too. Like I had to encounter that. Like throughout my whole primary education and now this, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be
Absolutely.
in the future workforce or whatever, but
It will be.
yeah. Because they can't, roll the R's,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can't, they haven't seen this last
Yeah.
name.
They're gonna bring up every single thing to you to make you feel like responsible to educate them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to.
No.
You know, and I think like closing it, making it full
Yes.
circle is just like, listeners, viewers, enjoy your identity. Like,
It's all
embrace
you
it,
have.
accept it, it's all you have. But sometimes you don't need to be the teacher, and sometimes you can, but it's your choice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We want to emphasize that because we don't want you to feel that you should hide whatever identity
You don't have to justify everything to everyone else
No.
because they're uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Let
Yeah.
them be uncomfortable with their own uncomfortableness, and you be comfortable in your comfortable
Mhm.
skin.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. I've been comfortable with my
Yeah.
entire life, so you can deal with it for
Yeah.
a while longer.
Yeah. Google pronunciation just needs to up their game with pronunciation.
Come on, Google.
Say.
Tell them. Tell them.
For real, that's the thing. Like,
So you can just show
especially
people.
now. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, there's
Download
great.
the app.
Oh.
Download the app. Duolingo.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Come on, Siri. Stop calling me Rye. Like, I ain't
I
Brad.
know my name, Siri. I wonder what she. Let me see if I can do it.
Remember,
No.
Maria
She
is
calls
not-
me Beyonce. So I can't be like, what's my name? She's like, hello, Beyonce.
It's like, we'll have this
Actually, I think someone changed my name. I think it's like badass bitch or something like that. I didn't know how to pronounce it. Oh.
Oh, man. Okay, I think with that.
Anyways.
I think with that, we'll end our show. James, thank you so much for coming,
Thank you
man.
all for having me.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Lots of
will.
laughs.
Nice.
Entertaining.
Fun fact, I won't be here next week. This is the first time they're hearing about it. Hi!
Yeah.
I'm in a conference.
Ha.
Yeah, this is
Will she be back? Who knows?
Big shot over here is getting an award.
Oh, why don't you tell us a little bit about it before we head out?
Alright.
Not to put you out there. But
Yeah, so I got the award for, it's a Rising Star Award for graduate students for NASPA, which is a higher education conference. I got nominated by 2 of my professors for it, and there's, so I can't remember how many students got chosen for it,
Yeah.
but it's like a handful of students. I wouldn't say maybe like 5 or 6. I might have that completely wrong. NASPA, please don't come after me.
Yeah, but that's like the nation.
But yeah, so it's really cool, and like honestly, for me, I didn't realize how big of a deal it was until other people were like, "This is a big deal," and I was like,
It's like, how big of a deal is it? It's like
Yeah.
the country, and you're like,
Celebratory.
So yeah, so it's for Region 4 West, so it's like Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, all of those states.
Show up, show up.
Yeah, so I'll be in Fargo, North Dakota.
Hey.
With your Tracy Ellis Goldie when you get that award.
For real. Maybe Tracy Ellis Ross will come.
yes.
I will DM her. and
Yeah.
tell her.
No,
There you
please
go.
tag her on Instagram. Tell her I'll be in Fargo, North Dakota. Our award ceremony is at like
No.
7, 6, something like that. But
We'll
just
send
tell her to show up.
Yeah.
And to DM me on Instagram and I'll
Yeah.
tell her where to go.
Yeah. Tag her with the videos.
Yeah.
Good morning, Tracy.
I'll be a patent sponsor.
Cool.
Please go down.
Yeah, no, congrats. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
But yes, we will give you much more updates on
Yeah.
your trip when you come back.
Yeah.
But with that, we'll close out another episode of
What are you?